Hey guys, Lucas here, and today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about how to get over your fear of street photography. But just before that, I want to remind you that RICOH has started using a new tag on Instagram. The tag is shootgr_ and your city name. So for me, it's shootgr_ Tokyo. And the point is, if we all use this tag, we might get to know other GRists, GR photographers, and maybe go out and shoot together or something like that. Okay, so if you post your photos from your RICOH GR, please use this tag. And of course, as always, I just want to remind you that if you have any questions or comments, leave them below, and I'll definitely get back to them and answer them as best as I can. And of course, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. All right, so let's get into it. What I want to talk to you about today is this idea of how to get over the fear of street photography, right? Which in the end, I would say boils down to a kind of social anxiety, right? So I've been doing street photography for 10 years, and I want to point out something that may not be obvious by how I appear in these videos on camera, but actually I'm a relatively shy person. I'm kind of an introvert by nature, right? But luckily, around the time that I was getting into street photography, I had just come to Japan, and I was also starting a new line of work. I was an English teacher, which is very, very common, but for many people coming, many foreign guys like me coming from America and other English-speaking countries. And so I had to, speak with people. I had to meet people every day, teach them English, right? And so I was always meeting new people. And that was also a little bit challenging for me. So I was out walking around, taking photos of the city, and I was doing this new job. And in both cases, I realized it was like training to get over that kind of, fear of the stranger sort of thing, right? And the reason I point that out is because that's ultimately the way to get over your fear of street photography. It doesn't matter, some people are more extroverted or outgoing to begin with. Some people like me are more introverted to begin with, but you can work on it and get out of that mindset and into a different mindset. And being on YouTube is part of this as well. I'm naturally not comfortable in front of the camera, but by doing it so much, it's been well over a year and a half, 2 years of making videos now, I'm pretty much comfortable. So it's like another form of public speaking. In a way, it's even worse because all the mistakes and everything, those awkwardnesses and all those weird things are immortalized in these videos, and you can go back and rewatch all the goofy things I say again and again and again. So in a way, at first that was annoying, it was unpleasant, but it made me realize, this doesn't matter, it's fine. So that's what I want to kind of demonstrate today. We're going to walk through a really cool area over here. It's called Yanaka Ginza, in the north part of Tokyo, near the station called Nippori. And it's like a little single shopping street. I mean, there's a little bit this way too, you can see it behind me, but the main one is over here. A lot of little shops, very local. The area around is extremely residential. So you don't see, at least these days especially, a lot of photographers and tourists. A little bit, it's a little bit touristy when there actually are tourists in Japan. But the thing is, we might interact with people. Now, my shooting style is not like Bruce Gilden or Tatsuo Suzuki or something where I get right in people's face. So I'm not going to demonstrate that because that's just not how I shoot. But I am going to be photographing people, right? And I might have to interact with them. And so that's what I want to show you. I want to show you how I do that if it occurs. And in general, I'll be reiterating that mindset. So let's go. We're going to take off and start looking around here. Now, I will say I'm not going to hesitate to just shoot people and interact with them. But if there's no reason to, I'm not going to, just to force a situation where I'll interact with somebody. So for me, usually on an average day of walking around taking photos, I might, in a couple of hours, 3 or 4 hours, I might talk to 1 or 2 people. That's it. Not very many. I don't often interact with people, but over the years, I've done it enough times that I'm just totally comfortable with it. In fact, to me, more than anything these days, actually, let's shoot this veggie market a little bit. A little bit too much aperture. I love these kinds of exchanges where somebody's paying for something, handing the groceries to each other, that kind of thing. So what I was going to say is that for me these days, especially in Japan, my Japanese is okay, but it's not great. So the bigger fear that I have is not so much that I'm doing street, I'm going to take someone's photo and they're going to talk to me and I'm going to have to explain, oh, I'm just taking photos for fun. It's more that the fear is oh God, I'm going to have to use my Japanese and my Japanese is not good. So if I was in an English-speaking country, I'd actually think I'd be a little more comfortable. Because the next thing that's important to keep in mind, very useful, is be ready to talk. So I've already said that, but specifically like what you're going to say. So I'm prepared, you know, I don't have like a speech memorized, but I'm prepared to explain myself if somebody says, hey, well, why'd you take my photo? So there's the generic response, the general response of, well, I'm a photographer and I like taking pictures of all kinds of stuff, and you were interesting, so I took a photo. But I do try to be specific. So I want to give people a good reason of why I took their photo, right? You know, why them and why not somebody else, right? So that usually what I do is I pay them a compliment. So it's a little bit self-serving. I'm trying to be, you know, let's see this guy giving the change back. Nice. This seems great. All right, and you see, for the purpose of this video, like on my own, I would have just done what I did. I was just taking the photos and just gone. And if somebody doesn't chat with me, I'm not going to go out of my way to chat with them. But also, I'm not hiding what I'm doing. Me and the gentleman, actually, we did make eye contact. He looked at the camera, I looked at him, I smiled. But he's clearly busy. So he has no time to mess with me and talk with me and ask me why you're taking my photo. I kind of lingered there longer to demonstrate that to you guys. I was hoping he was going to say like, hey, why are you taking my photo? Or maybe he'd get annoyed, I don't know. But that's the point, is I just stayed in the moment and I let it happen. And whatever he says is going to be fine. Now, a little warning, a little caveat. This is going to vary from culture to culture, country to country. You know, in Japan, people are pretty kind, and they're definitely not, I mean, I don't want to say they're not confrontational, because fully admitting I have been told off a few times, like in a stern way, like, hey, no photo here, you know? But people don't get, of course, violent or anything like that. People here don't do that. Never happened to me, not even close. So I'm not particularly concerned about like my own personal safety. I know that here the worst thing that can happen is someone might just tell me to go away, right? And I might just feel like told off. And you know how when someone tells you off for something, you feel that little bit of shame. That's the worst that's going to happen to me, right? So what I'm saying is you have to, you know, despite my advice and everything I've said, you have to choose for yourself based on where you live and the people that you're around, what you think is acceptable or not acceptable. You know, in some cultures, taking a photo is, you know, like a grave error. You know, if you do something, if you take a photo of somebody, that's like, you know, you're hurting them in some significant way. Whew, that was loud. So, you know, you have to decide those things for yourself. But I think in most countries, you know, most countries I've ever been to, in Europe, in America, if you take someone's photo on the street and you have a pleasant conversation with them afterward, it's really totally fine, okay? There are also laws as well. I do know that in some countries, like I think in Germany and some other European countries, it's actually illegal to take photos of people on the street. That has, you know, my advice has no bearing on that. That's between you and your lawyer. You got to figure that out. But just in general, what I'm saying is like how to feel more comfortable with photography. Just be open about it, be friendly. By doing it more, you're going to feel, you know, you're going to naturally feel more comfortable with it, and maintain a positive attitude. Something I should also mention is you're not doing anything wrong. I mean, it's not harmful to take photos of people, right? It's just a fun thing as long as you maintain a positive attitude about it. All right? So we've walked through Yanaka Ginza. I didn't shoot too much, a couple of cool scenes, but I hope you found that video interesting, and thank you so much for watching. And of course, please leave a comment, like the video, and subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.